Welcome to Cross Border Interviews, the show where we dive into the insights of municipal political leaders from across Canada. Now, our mission on this show is quite simple: shine a light on the dedicated individuals who day in and day out work around the council table to shape the communities that we and they call home. And for today's episode, we are honored to be recording it live in person in the town of St. Walburg, Saskatchewan, where we were able to sit down in person in the council chambers of St. Walburg with Mayor Nancy Schneider. Nancy, thank you so much for sitting down with me in the town of St. Walburg in your council chambers. I'm not sure if that's the mayor's chair, but if it is, thank you so much for allowing me to be here and seeing you in your mayor's chair.
So nice to have you here, Chris. Thanks for coming to St. Walburg. Really appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate the open invitation. I've got to start. You've said you've listened to the show and you watched the show before, so you know the very first question I ask every single person. So you're no exception. Where does your sense of duty to serve your community come from, Nancy?
Oh, yeah, I've heard you say this question many times. You know what? It is about being a community member. I love St. Walburg. It's my town. It's where I live. All my friends are here. And the sense of duty is just to make it the best town that we can be. And it's not just about having people work here, but it's about people living here. So what do we need to have a good life here?
Was mom and dad political?
Not really.
So where does the political bug come from then? Because you could have given back in many different ways, but you chose the political route to give back as well.
Well, I stepped into council once I was retired from my job, and because they were short of councillors. So I just thought I'd step in for about 6 months, help out, and then I never left. That's about 8 years ago, I guess. No,
Tale as old as time.
Yeah, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, thereabouts.
What was it about the municipal level? Because we talked off the record just a few minutes ago, and your background would have made you prime for a provincial job, a federal job, but you decided municipal was where it was going to be. Why?
Well, one of the things I like is that I have influence directly to the people that I serve. And it is about servant leadership. Robert Greenleaf is near and dear to my heart. And I do believe about giving back. So this town has given me lots, and I want to do the best I can for the town here. It's nice being in your own bed every night. It's nice going to meetings with people you know. It's pretty relaxed. And it is truly a joy to give back.
Is that hard, though? Because in a small town like St. Walburg, I'm assuming, and I just saw it firsthand as I pulled over to the side of the road to take the photo of your welcome to St. Walburg sign.
Great.
People were slowing down and turning their head and saying, who's this random person taking a photo of our sign? So you know everyone in this town, and they probably know who you are.
You bet.
So there's the good and the bad of that scenario. The good is you know the issues. The bad is if something goes wrong, you know about it and it's your fault.
Yeah.
How do you balance that small town challenge with the small town realities of you know everyone?
Well, I don't think it's a challenge.
Okay.
You know what? I look at it as if there's an issue, it is best that I know about it. We've got a great team in the office and outside in our infrastructure, and a great group of councillors. We need to have those hard conversations, and we don't have the answers, and we don't have the budget, but we are always listening. We're doing our best. Now, sometimes we don't get it right, but honestly, we're trying our best, and I think those conversations they're important, people sometimes skirt away from the uncomfortable conversation, whereas I welcome that.
Why?
How best to deal with an issue. If you don't, you really have to have a conversation. You have to hear everybody's side. Try not to interrupt. Try not to say, "Oh no, this isn't right." But really, if in my mind, if I can be as open-minded as possible without making a decision ahead of time, the decisions are always better. I've just found that.
One of the big challenges that mayor and council faces is trying to solve all the issues that come up in a community. Now, after 5 years of being mayor, that you're not going to be able to solve John's issue, Jill's issue, Sarah's issue, George's issue, because you have to look at every issue as a St. Walburg issue, and only as a St. Walburg issue. How do you do that in a small town? Because
I quote this movie all the time, and it's going to reveal that I'm a big Star Trek nerd right now. So if you've listened to the show, but the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one.
Yeah.
So the needs of the town outweigh the needs of George and Jim.
Right.
So how do you make those decisions that are in the best interest of St. Walburg, but still trying to appease the individual issues?
Gotcha. Well, so I think you've hit the nail on the head. It is about St. Walburg is the focus. So I was just at the mayor's school and virtually. I didn't go because we had our big blueberry fest on, couldn't get back in time. So I joined virtually. But they talk about the attention being laser focused. And I've really been thinking about that. So our intention must be to St. Walburg as a whole. We do partnerships with lots of other municipalities, but in all honesty, my number one job is to the town of St. Walburg. And what the decisions are for the best of everyone. Now, it's a small town and there's lots of flexibility. So if we can help somebody, we will. It's how can I help you kind of thing. But the biggest thing to look at is what does St. Walburg need? Like what are our pressures, and not lose sight of them. Because once you lose sight of them, it's so easy for them to not get the attention.
We're going to talk about some of the issues in a few minutes here, but I want to stick on you, if you don't mind, because I have gotten a sense after doing about 800 of these interviews from across Canada that there is an apathetic nature when it comes to municipal politics. The sense is, as long as my garbage is picked up, my taxes are low, and my water turns on when I go have a shower every morning, I'm content with what's going on at City Hall. So that there's a challenge there that lies in that equation of when I go out and ask people what the issues are, they really don't have time to think about it. Do you get a sense like that in St. Walburg, that people are willing to tell you the issues that are going on in the town, or do you have to sort of pry them out of them because they're not really engaged as much?
Well, I think after COVID, it was hard to get people back out and about. We've tried different areas of communication, and my job, I think, is to talk to anybody and everybody to know the issues. And people are pretty good. But like, for example, we have a new priest in town with the Roman Catholic Church. So I'm going over with a gift basket and just welcoming him, but also saying to him, like, this is our town. Tell him a little bit about our town. And so the issues are the same as every other town, in all honesty. But I think most people are pretty happy here. We all want better roads, and so does the city of Saskatoon. So, I mean, we're no different.
So does every community.
Yeah. So if there's a big issue, it's usually highlighted pretty quick. And I think the best we can do is just truly engage on that issue.
What role do you see yourself playing in communicating with residents? Because I used to work for a municipality in northern Alberta, and I can tell you that the spray hose approach to communications of putting it in the radio, putting it on the digital signs, putting it on the billboards in every town square that you can find, and going knocking on doors is pretty time consuming. And I'm assuming your administration has other things that they need to get done. What role do you see yourself playing in communicating with the general public to ensure that they're informed about the issues that are also going on in the community?
So first off, everybody on the same page. So council and staff, we all know what we're doing. So if we have an issue coming up, everybody has had the conversation. Nobody's blindsided. And then I think the job of mayor and council is to then engage with the people who have elected us and tell them what we're doing. And a lot of that is person to person. It's not mass, we're not talking to big groups usually, but usually it is a couple of three people. I get lots of phone calls, and my number is publicized, my cell number, and I'm happy to take
Why
a
do
call.
small town mayors do that?
Because if somebody needs to get a hold of me, it's easier because they're going to, and I want them to, and so they might as well know my number. And I'm happy to take calls, but I get calls all the time, and I always look at it. It is an honor that people actually if they have a concern, they phone me. Now, I'm pretty careful because I'm not doing my CAO Christine's job. She does that very well. And so I don't step in her lane, but I do do everything I can to promote the information and communication that we need. And it's not easy. I'd like to have a communication director that does all the writing and all of that. But in small towns, we all just do it together.
You bring up a unique unique line of questions that I want to ask, and I apologize if it gets a little personal, but
Okay.
You are a small town mayor, and that means everyone knows you.
Yeah.
That means you step outside your door, people know that you're the mayor.
Yeah.
There's no hiding that in a small town.
Yeah.
After 5 years, have you been able to strike that balance of being Mayor Schneider and Nancy, just being able to go out and just having a relaxful day with your family? Or do you know, and does your family know, that the moment you leave your house, if someone stops you on the side of the road and says, we need to chat about this pothole or this issue, I'm going to need you to talk about it, and I'm going to need to direct my attention from my family to them? Or do you tell people, here's my card, call me tomorrow, I'd love to do this, I'm with my family right now? Have you been able to find that balance?
Yeah, pretty good balance. You know, often I have that 10 minutes, and my husband knows that, and my friends know that. And
So I'm assuming you don't get the milk anymore.
yeah. What if I'm at the coffee shop or whatever, and somebody wants to talk to me? I want to make sure that I'm available. So I usually take that 10 minutes. If it's going to be longer than that, I just say, you know what, this is turning into a good conversation. Can I meet you later?
And are they comfortable with that?
Yeah, but I've met people on my back deck because everybody knows where I live. I'm happy to do that. I've met people in the coffee shop. They come into chambers here. We've got a room where there's a couple of chairs. It's more comfortable for people instead of sitting in chambers. But it's about
There's more comfortable chairs than the ones that we're sitting in right now. I almost fell asleep at this.
I know, these are pretty nice. We just got them. Yeah.
One of the areas that I want to just quickly touch on before we turn to the town of St. Walburg as
Sure.
a whole is you just got elected almost 10 months ago, if I'm doing my basic math here.
Yeah.
November, right? Was
Yeah.
the election. How's this new term coming for you?
This is a good term.
Is it?
I know what I'm doing, first off.
I'm not sure if I should follow up, but did you not know what you're doing the first term?
Well, the first couple of months, I did not. I have to tell you, municipal government is different, but I feel more comfortable in the role. I've got a really good team that surrounds me. So my staff, the town staff, always have my back, and that I can't tell you how much that means. And the councillors are really enthused and dedicated, and they are every term. This term I'm really enjoying. I'm happy to be here. It's a nice balance. I'm not too busy usually. And if
Knock on wood, because the moment you say that,
Yeah.
I'm about to leave and a water main break is going to happen, and I'm going to say, not my fault. You said it, Nancy.
Exactly right. Yeah. So no, it's good. It's going good.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I want to turn to the town of St. Walburg as a whole now.
You bet.
And if you've listened to the show, like you said you have, you know I have a bit of a preamble before my first question. For those who are watching and listening, this is a conversation between the mayor and myself. This is not a motion of council, not a direction of council, not even a policy of council. This is the mayor's opinion and her opinion alone. She needs a majority of people around this table that we're sitting at right now during a council meeting to direct administration to move a policy, pass a bylaw, or defeat a bylaw and defeat a policy. With that being said, Mayor Schneider, as of recording this at almost the beginning of September 2025, what do you see as the biggest challenge or challenges facing the town of St. Walburg today?
Well, that one's pretty easy. Money. We have old infrastructure like every other town in Saskatchewan. We don't have any access to grants. They're not readily available. There's not a lot of grants out there for underground infrastructure. And do we even pave roads? Because if you pave a road, it's like $300,000 a block, all said and done. And then you got to fix it in like 10 years. So our budget is really limited. And we've got a loan for our lagoon that we're paying off, though we're paying off quick. So it is a lack of dollars coming to small town Saskatchewan to help us fix our underground pipes and that kind of stuff. I did get elected to the CEDA, Saskatchewan Economic Development Alliance. So I've got my first meeting in November. And it is to see what is out there, but also the economic viability of Saskatchewan, I think, is where the synergy is going to be. And if I can bring money into my town economically, it'll help to pay for some of these things. But we've really been looking at it differently. We've got a great town foreman with lots of experience home from here. I won't say how old he is, but he might be around my age. And we have been taking some of our sealed roads, which weren't real pavement, back to gravel. And you know what? It's easier to maintain. And you put a little bit of calcium chloride on that stops the dust, and they're better roads. So we have to look at things differently. Those are the challenges. Think outside the box. What can we do?
Okay, I didn't expect you to be so blunt about it, which is good.
Oh, sorry.
Then the follow-up question is, you're not alone in that situation, that there's no money for smaller municipalities right now. But how do I ask this without asking that? I'm going to ask the question and then you can tell me I'm out to left field. But
Okay.
You don't want your community to become stagnant without growth.
Yeah.
You don't want to be known as the mayor that killed your own community. So how do you grow a community? How do you move St. Walburg forward when you don't have the financial resources? And I'm saying this because I've chatted with Minister Schmalz, the Minister of Government Relations. He knows that municipalities are asking for more money. There's just none in the budget. So how does St. Walburg move forward without being known as the town that's dying?
You know how you do it?
How?
With a bit of courage and to be brave. So have the conversations. I let everybody know I'm looking for money for roads. When grants come out, I'm going to be applying for them. Christine and I, my CAO, we're looking at it. But also I have the conversations when I'm meeting with ministers, when I'm meeting with other elected officials. Everybody's in the same boat. So it is about being really laser focused and strategic. So what happened in St. Walburg is we didn't have any land for industry. So we couldn't grow. We didn't, we had a seed company built just outside of our town because we didn't have the land mass. But fortunately, we were strategic and a quarter section came up right next to the golf course, which borders our town. So we're annexing, we're going to invite industry to our town. You grow your town by having things in your town that people want.
So what makes St. Walburg viable then? Because again, just playing devil's advocate with you here, Turtleford would say the same thing probably.
Yeah.
Torquay, Saskatchewan would say the same thing. Assiniboia would say the same thing. We need to invest more economic dollars into our community. What is St. Walburg doing to say to businesses, we're open, we want you here, we will work with you to come here?
Okay. So first off is having the asset, the resources that you need. So that quarter section is highway frontage, which is a gift.
Yeah. It is a massive gift.
Yeah. And we'll have industry and a side road, and we'll be working with highways. So it is about being open for business. And the former mayor of St. Walburg, Mayor George Prudat, always said that, and he was absolutely right. We're open for business. The other thing is, as the mayor, I can talk with every business owner, and I'm doing that, about how can I help you? What do you need? Now, we're in the northern gateway to the lakes. So lots of people come through our town. Our catchment's about 60,000. And I think when people get here, they see what a nice town it is. So we sold, 40 some houses last year. Yes, St. Walburg is growing. And we have to be ready for that. We have to be ready to have commercial land, residential land, the tiny home concept. We should be doing that for people that are snowbirds. All those things.
How do you grow not how do you grow a community, but there are some people, those 40 new houses that are coming on.
Well, not new, it's the changing of houses.
Okay, 40 houses that sold last year.
Yeah.
There might be some people from Lloydminster, from bigger cities, who said, I'm moving to St. Walburg for that small town vibe.
Yeah.
But you want to grow your community. You want to bring in more economic dollars, and that means there's going to be more businesses, and that means there's going to be more staff, and that means there's going to be more housing. So how do you sustainably grow your community, knowing that some people want that small town feel that has St. Walburg written all over it?
Yeah. Well, I think that the real answer is when new business is coming in, that will bring more people, but also it is a small town feel. And as long as we make sure that we are having conversations, seeing what people want, because it really is.
Do
People,
they want to see it grow?
Yeah.
They do.
They want more to do. They want more to do. The young families want more to do. In the summers, we've got a really good communiplex and a great group of volunteers. Our recreation board manages all of that for the town of St. Walburg. They're all volunteers. It's amazing.
Good for them.
Yes, yeah. So volunteer-driven stuff as well. But what can we bring that people want? We have to find out what people want. Do they want pickleball? Not really. So far, it's not a huge uptake compared to other communities. But people want something to do on a rainy day in the summer. So, what do we have? We've got some really good places. Like we've got the Route 26, which is a coffee house. I don't know if you've been there, but you should.
I will be stopping in before
It's
I
a
leave.
gem. And we've got some really good restaurants. We've got 4 really nice restaurants in town, the Farmhouse for elegant dining and casual dining. We've got the Ying's and then the hotel.
Are developers knocking on your door?
Yes.
Really?
So when we bought our quarter section, and we're not ready, and we've got to do a feasibility study, and I'm looking for grant funding for that. And we've got a plan.
I feel like this should be called the grant episode.
Yeah, it should be.
give St. Walburg grants episode.
Yeah, I might have to play this for when I'm applying. But, we want to be ready for what's coming our way. And I think, being prepared and having that laser focus on the intentions is the way forward.
The reason I ask that question is because the thing we often don't talk about is the sexy side of municipal politics, the sewage lagoons, the wastewater treatment facilities, the upgrades, the things that really keep you up at night.
Yeah.
Is St. Walburg set up for growth?
Yep.
So what, and you may not know it off the top of your head, and I apologize for asking the question, but what is the population that you can handle right now? So if a developer came in and said, well, I want to build 100 houses, could you allow that?
Sure. Yeah, we'd have to really get to work on that quarter section for the residential and stuff. But so one of the things that the 2 mayors ago, Tony Leeson was the mayor in 2012 and 2014, and he had the foresight and the agreement with the Village of Paradise Hill and the Arm of Freshman Butte to build a lagoon to house all our water treatment needs. It's a $12 million build. $9 million was grant funding, and it exists today. So we can grow. That's one of the reasons why they did that, is because we didn't have a big enough lagoon for growth and stuff. We've always been between 600 and 800 people since 1953 when we were incorporated. We're about 700 right now, and we've got room to grow.
I get a sense from the Saskatchewan government that they're looking at municipalities who are willing to collaborate with their neighbors.
Yes.
How's your relationship with the RMs?
Good.
Is it?
Good. I sit on the Lagoon Committee, and I'm the chair of it actually right now. And that's with the Arm of Freshman Butte and the Village of Paradise Hill. It's a great committee, and our lagoon is well managed. We've got the St. Walburg District Fire and Rescue Association, which has just been incorporated, and that's with the RM of Mervyn, the RM of Frenchman Butte, and the town of St. Walburg. So we've just got that up and running, and so they're good partnerships.
While I don't want to go away from this conversation making people think that there's only bad things and challenges that are going on in St. Walburg, I want to talk about the accomplishments for a few seconds.
Sure.
What are you proud of when it comes to the town? What's the thing that you look at? And I don't want you to talk about tourism, because we're gonna talk about it in a few seconds. But what's the thing you look at and you say, you know what, we have these X factors that are going wrong, but we have this X factor that we're doing right, and I'm so happy we're doing it right. What is that X factor for the town of St. Walburg from the mayor's perspective?
Well, it's kind of financial. Well, so when I became mayor,
Double-edged sword, that finance.
I know. One of the best things I think we did is we paid attention to the finances and our growth. And so we with our finance standing committee, we had a delegate, which was the past bank manager, Don Nicholson, join our team. And Don and I got looking at our loan, which was a 28 and a half years to go, 1.7 million thereabouts. And we went with the Saskatchewan government and did a debenture, which is solid financial management. So we shaved off 13 and a half years off the loan. And we had to add an extra 10,000 a year, but the debenture rate of interest was so much better. And the risk to the town was every 10 years it had to be renewed at the rate of that day. So our payments could have tripled. So it really was about that financial management. And Don Nicholson said, if you do anything in your term as mayor, that was probably an important one. So, of course, I can't take credit for it because he was part of the team. And as a group, we did it together with the council of the day. So I'm proud of that. And I'm proud that we had a quarter section of land going east of town on a gravel road that was farmland that the town had bought many years ago for a future lagoon, which we didn't need. So we did a progressive tender on that and sold that and did well. Turned around and brought the other quarter section, and we saved about 125,000 to the good on that. So I think that financial management is really important. The other thing that I think I would like to say is we have great staff. Lyle Knight is our town foreman. He grew up here. He was in the oil field. He runs heavy equipment. He is about as dedicated as you'll ever see. He is probably the best town foreman in all of Saskatchewan. I have to say that honestly. Christine Sagan, our CAO, comes from this town. She volunteers for everything. We have to say, Christine, can we help you? Because she's just such a community person. Surrounding yourself with really good staff, that just makes it easy for everybody.
Surrounding with good staff is one thing, but having pride in your community is a completely different thing. And I get there's a sense that there is a pride in this community that I don't see in a lot of small towns right now. Like, I get a sense when you drive into this community that people are happy to be coming home or happy to be living in St. Walburg. What makes St. Walburg so unique in that way that people take pride? Because trust me, I've been to many municipalities, and I'm not going to point them out for those mayors who are listening or watching this, but sometimes you drive in and there's garbage laying on the ditches, but there's a cleanliness to St. Walburg when you're driving in. So what makes people so prideful to be living and calling St. Walburg home?
Well, I think it's generations of people living here, family names that you hear all the time. But also, I think that St. Walburg is a very welcoming town. I've got a couple of friends that are new, that have moved from Ontario. And that's what they've said. And I'm thinking, I was saying, like, what makes you say that? She says, well, anytime there's an event, people are, hi, where are you from? That kind of stuff. We have 3 major events in town. I think that makes a difference too. So we've got the Walk for Mental Wellness in May. We've got Tyler Smith coming here next May as a keynote speaker. We're hoping. And then there is the Party in the Pasture, which is mud bogging and all that kind of stuff, a baseball tournament. And then we've got the Wild Blueberry Festival.
The Wild Blueberry Festival.
And it was successful.
I was just telling the mayor before we hit the record button that it was one of the first 2 events that I came to when I got moved out here from Ontario to Lloydminster, Saskatchewan, Alberta. And I went, oh, who celebrates blueberries? But when I came here, it was a thing. Like everyone was excited, and it truly felt like it wasn't a town. It felt like a family that was just getting together over dinner, and they're going to all like sit in Main Street and just enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
So you started talking about tourism, so I'm gonna play in that sandbox with you for a bit.
Betcha.
Now I'm here as a tourist, so I've got a few hours to kill after we're done this interview. What should I do? What should people come and see in St. Walburg when they're passing through to Lake Country in Saskatchewan?
Well, if you're starting off in the morning, you want to hit Route 26 and have a great cup of coffee. Best you'll have anywhere. A hidden gem of Saskatchewan. That was in the Saskatoon paper. Ooh. Yeah. And they've got really nice baking. You won't be able to leave without a cinnamon knot or something. The other thing is there's just a gallery that's opened across the street. It's the old United Church. And we have a famous artist who lives here, Susan Velder. And it's called the Susan Velder gallery and more, because they have other artists that are there, and 2 artists are kind of running it, but it's a nonprofit, so it's all volunteer. But it's a way to house her art, but bring people to our town. And
for those who don't know, because I did not know
Oh.
this story until after we had talked off the record, but Susan is well known in
Yeah.
Saskatchewan because anyone who has ever been to the legislative grounds has seen her work,
yeah,
which is
the Queen on the Horse.
so she sculpted the whole thing.
She did it. Yep. Yeah, that's hers. Over in the gallery. They've got I think they call him a sculpture, but it is of a firefighter, and it is superb. So she did it for another community, but you have to do a trial one. So her trial one's over at the gallery, but it's really cool to see. She is an artist with acrylics and oils and all of that as well, but. I would go and stop there. Our museum is 100 years old. Yeah, it was built. I just did the speech at the 100-year anniversary here last month, and the famous artist Count Berthel Imhoff did the paintings, the religious paintings in there. Yeah. They had over 400 people stop there the day of the Blueberry Fest.
Wow.
Now, had you been here at the Blueberry Fest, you would have been at
I
the
was
dance night.
I was in Regina at the Mayor Summer School.
Oh yes, where I was virtually.
Yes.
Yes. So the Friday night of the Blueberry Fest, it's a dance, and we have a family band that comes, the Wormses, and we had a signature drink called the Blueberry Fog, and we sold out. So when there's an event on, there's lots to do, but when there's not an event, it's a nice time to walk around town. There's a great gift shop called Through the Grapevine, flower shop, gift shop. Now I'm probably going to miss somebody, and then I'll be thinking, oh shoot, why didn't I say that?
The worst part about this show is you have to remember everyone's name because
Yeah.
you forget one.
Yeah,
You will hear about it.
Well, Angie Feist runs the flower shop, and but it's a gift shop as well. It's pretty cool. There's lots to do in St. Walburg, and just walk around this downtown, which we're working on revitalizing and getting like paint and getting it to look its very best.
Now, we've talked about St. Walburg for the last half hour,
Yeah.
and I get a sense that you are so happy to be the mayor of this community.
I am.
It shined through in the conversations that we're having. I'm going to ask the Sophie's Choice little question right now.
All right.
What's your favorite part of the community? Where's the one spot in the community that you can go to after a long council meeting and decompress? And I'm going to say this as a caveat. You can't say your own house because everybody likes to say they run out to their house and they close the door and they can just decompress there.
Yeah.
Where in the community do you go to?
Well, I like going out to the golf course. Pretty nice. It looks like it's in Banff.
Oh,
Yeah, like it's a spot. That's a place you should stop. It's really beautiful, and they've got a great deck, and it's a nice place to have a glass of wine or a beer. I go to friends' places. I go to the Route. I go to the farmhouse. Have a glass of wine and a bowl of soup. There's always somebody you know, so you sit with people that you know there, and yeah,
so my final
I don't
question.
do too much.
My final question, it's the $1 million question. So this is the point in time you take as long as you want or as little time as you want to answer this question. In your opinion, what makes the town of St. Walburg such a unique place to live, to work, and to raise a family?
The people who live here. Short answer. It is the best people in Saskatchewan live in St. Walburg.
Why do you say that?
There, people here are interested in who you are. There's a neighbor helping neighbor mentality, for sure. Everybody's got a garden and extra produce, and those that don't, we share. It is a community that is knitted together by generations of families living here, still inviting new families to come. It is a welcoming town. It just is. I don't know how I got so lucky to be the mayor, of this town, but I am counting myself very fortunate.
Is St. Walburg the type of town that you can tell where all the kids are because their bikes are on the front lawns of someone's house?
You got it. You've got it. We have a couple of good parks, but we are working on bumping them up a little bit. Yeah, you definitely know where everybody lives, and we've got great baseball diamonds and that kind of stuff. So there's lots happening.
I know I said that was my last question. I asked 2 questions afterwards.
That's okay.
But Mayor Schneider, I want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for taking time out of your busy day to sit down with me and talk about yourself, talk about the great town of St. Walburg. Now, I will ask my final question before I let you go, but what would you want the people of Saskatchewan to know about your town that we haven't talked about yet?
Boy, we've talked about so much, Chris, and I think where we're located, because we are a gateway to the Northern Lakes. So we're between North Belford and Lloydminster and just north, somewhere in the middle. But I think people would be surprised if they came to St. Walburg with how much they would enjoy seeing it. So there's the challenge.
I think that's the best way to end it. Come see St. Walburg for yourself. You will not be disappointed. Mayor, thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of Cross Border Interviews. Now, we hope you've enjoyed today's conversation and gained some valuable insights from our guest about municipal politics in the province of Saskatchewan. Now, to learn more about the communities and the people that we feature on this show and our sister shows, visit us online at crossborderinterviews.ca. Now, your support means the world to us. So share this episode with your friends, your family, and yes, even your community, and help keep the conversation going. Until next week, stay informed, stay engaged, and we will be back with a brand new episode of Cross Border Interviews shortly. Till then, everyone.